understanding of business started with my mother, because that was actually what she did for a living. She bought and sold goods, and she was actually a wholesaler that was an intermediary to retailers. And I watched how she bought and sold. She had a very interesting personality, and she told me that her father was an entrepreneur. So it kind of runs in the blood, the understanding of buying and selling, and also being some kind of cultural representative, because there's an element of culture surrounding business in my cultural background, meaning that there is an art in terms of the harmony and flow of energy between people. So it isn't just thinking about, I have an item that I want to sell, what is the best way I can sell it to you? It surrounds a whole genre of saying that I'm a merchant as opposed to a hawker or a businessman. And there's a different type of energy and whole mindset that surrounds that. So I was involved from teenagehood, or actually even childhood, because my parents were involved with property, and I was always involved in fixing them up, and I got to understand the ins and outs of buying, selling, repairing, refurbishing, and renting properties out. So I had that background for quite a while, and my mother's part, because she wasn't involved in that aspect, was the buying and selling goods. So I understood that it was very important to have a sense of flow and being on good terms with people. To me, that was business. It wasn't just about selling. It was very natural, actually. What's important about business are people, and not the concept of making money on its own. Because if the target is just making money, people can feel there is this neediness and this grabbing and this pushing, and it becomes repulsive. And that, again, follows natural law. To be a good business person, you have to understand how to be a magnet, how to attract and not push away. So the key qualities, from my perspective, for a business person is to be open, to be knowledgeable, to have some background experiential knowledge of what it is that you're dealing with. And I think the most important quality is to not like, but love what you do, and love the product, and be convinced yourself that what it is that you're representing, you stand behind it with pride, positivity and genuineness, and not try to just flog something because it's going to make some money. That is the worst quality of any business person. So if there's something you don't believe in, either find another product or find another business, is what I would say. I've dealt with many different business people, and because my mother was my teacher, I can say one thing: women sell from the heart, men sell from the head. There is a difference, significant difference. And they're more intuitive. And unless they're insecure, they won't push. A man has this element of trying to, it's almost like a competition to win you over and perhaps even trick you. It depends on what it is that they're selling and how they're selling it. But they really do feel good about this. Every woman I've dealt with that's not, let's just say, we can have yang women that take on male qualities, and you've got then women that are typically within their own set, and there are males who take on yin qualities. And what they do is they create a setting so that you feel comfortable, and they help you to feel that you are not being lied to, tricked or cheated, but rather that they actually create a space because they feel that they care for you. And this is important, that if you feel that you're being cared for, the person that is selling something to you is creating a space to make you feel that you are listened to. And basically they enable what I call the security, the safety and the comfort to be there. And therefore you're being nurtured. So you've bought because you're feeling nurtured as opposed to being pushed or tricked. Or you've got to have this because it's the latest whatever, iPhone or car or etc. See, these are tactics that are using the lack of what's not there, as opposed to you've got everything you need, but this might enhance what's already there. Or maybe it's better than what you have, which is a different, not just tactic, but it appeals to a different part of our mindset. I would say the most important goals for any business person is to be practical, be real, be willing to be wrong, understand your business exceptionally well, not superficially, and don't do it just because you like it. There are things that you are good at but you don't like. There are things that you like but you're not good at. You've got to find the balance if you're going to do business. And that's very, very important. If you don't understand that, you're destined to fail. So many people have good ideas, and there's millions of them actually, but do they have a business to actually service the ideas so that it can be realized? I know that in the UK, the year of 2016 to 17, HMRC report stated that 90% of businesses failed in the first 12 to 18 months because these people did not seek consultancy as to and do due diligence to test the market, to find out, okay, I've got something in my mind, I'm excited about it, I'm thrilled about doing this for myself, but have I tested the market? Do I know that there's actually a need for this? Or is there anything out there like this? What's my competition? Do people understand it? What is it that I'm actually presenting? Do I have a specific target audience, or do I want to just open it up to anybody and everybody and hope for the best because I'm feeling good, I'm having a nice time with the idea? And that, I think, is also a formula for failure. When we develop business, as I mentioned earlier, that for me, business is a part of exchange and communication that feeds back into the culture. So if you do not understand what a person feels is important according to their cultural background, some people buy certain goods because it's an integral part of their culture. They value these particular goods in a particular way, and it's the way in which you present it to them that makes the difference. Otherwise, why should they buy? Simple example, you don't have to do much to be a shopkeeper. You've already decided as a customer that you need X amount. So you go to the shop, and all you're looking for is where is it stocked. You go to the supermarkets today, you barely ask anyone anything because all they're doing most of the time is spending time either stocking the shelves or standing behind the till and taking your money. So you didn't have to ask any questions. They didn't have to sell anything to you. But when you're in the position of having to sell, that's when you need to understand, what does this person want? Where do they come from? What are their values? And how can I satisfy their need at this point in time? Rather than looking for their pain. Because I don't think that's a good way to sell. Because what you're doing there, you're engendering a negative exchange. This is what I mean by buying and selling. It's an exchange. You're actually selling an idea, they're buying from you. It isn't just, I've got something that I want to flog, or I've got something that I want to sell you because I need money by the end of the month. This is not business in any way, shape or form. And it's very imperative to understand that. I would look at excellence in business as the result of the degree to which everyone benefits. Not just the members of your staff and or the clients, but all society. This means that we're following a principle based on an archetype called abundance. So there's something in it. They recently have brought in, let's say the last 25, 30 years, a win-win situation. Well, I call it win-win-win. The universe has got to win too. So when we're following natural law, we begin to understand that we're an integral part of the way life works. And for me, business is about life in a healthy and efficient, effective, and expanding way where everyone is growing and everyone is benefiting. People often ask me, how is money connected to spirituality? Money is connected to business, but how is it connected to spirituality? I say there's three main aspects of money. One is the physical aspect. That's what we use in exchange. And it's basically representing flow of energy. That's why it's called currency. The second is its representation. It's symbolic representation. That's the archetypal part of money. And the third is the most important part, is how it links us energetically to our soul and spiritual development. So the money should be and is actually the tail end of the way in which we've understood sharing, caring, respect, appreciation, and development of close ties and bond based on trust and developing confidence from within ourselves and endorsing that to other people. This is very important when it comes to business, that there is a sense of solidity and confidence based on respect, and I would call it an equanimous understanding of energy exchange. I'm working on developing a program, I call it Quantum Leadership for Millennials, and that is based on reintroducing meaning in life, because there's so much information, so much accessibility to whatever they want to be able to actually inform themselves of, and they have come to understand or believe that that's all there is in terms of the depth of life. And they know that there's more to it, but they're not experienced enough to know how to access that and how to develop it further. So offering a sense of substance and grounding and a deeper level of meaning gives one purpose. This is very, very important to understand. There is no purpose without meaning. There is no meaning without substance. And there is no substance without foundation. If you don't have a foundation based on something that's been there for tens and hundreds of thousands of years, then we're missing a link in a very important change, what I see a chain of human evolution. And so by handing our power over to information technology, it's created a very big severance within that link. And I think it's important that we reintroduce that foundation with clarity. And that's what we offer the young people, so that they have more confidence, more trust, and less guilt, and do not feel shy. Because first off, we've got to develop communication skills. And they are people to people, not through mobile phones and texts and Skyping and technology, but people to people. Because that way I am communicating with your cells. I pick up your vibrational frequencies, I read the water in your being, and I see and feel you. And that's very different than doing it through technology. So that's how I would engender and endorse the development of, well, I could say, rehumanization of IT influence that has created a whole generation. In science, in cognitive science, they actually describe humans as sophisticated robots. So I think we can steer away from that and return back to some other aspect that is very, very important. Likewise, for more mature businessmen, my focus is on legacy, which is extremely important, and longevity. Longevity, legacy. How they can extend the life of their business and themselves, and then the legacy they leave for future generations, based not on just a name, saying, well, you know, like the Medicis paid Da Vinci and all sorts of other people to, they saw it as immortality. But I think the legacy we're talking about is what we can build on, so that the growth can take place. Pick up where we've left off, like in a relay race, so that there is something to actually develop. Because if everything keeps getting broken down generation after generation, there's a lot of work that needs to go back into building just the foundation. And if that foundation isn't clear, then that's okay. That's natural law taking care of itself. But if it is clear, why break it down? Why throw away all the good work that previous generations have put into place? Which is why in Asia, the ancestral worship is so important, because we build on the legacy that they have offered us, our ancestors. In the West, we tend to be more individual and communally oriented because of what we're going to receive in terms of our individual, let's just say, recognition. The claim to name and fame and fortune. This is not so important in Asian cultures. What is important is that you serve your family, you serve the group, the community, and you are respectful and reverent to where you've come from, because you didn't come out of the blue. And that's important to remember as well.